Well, just to answer that question, when I was about 12 years old, I started going with my father in the summers, and in the fall, we would weld aluminum sprinkler pipe. And that was so successful that Dad decided to contract with Ore-Ida Foods to do steam and condensate and oil piping in Ore-Ida Foods. So we would go there through the summer, change out boilers, do certified welding, and I learned how to weld, cut, grind, and bevel. Well, with that experience, after Susan and I were married, Dad let us live in the shop that was next to our house across the street from the sugar factory. And inside the shop there at the sugar factory was a welder, a cutting torch, and a grinder. And I soon found work to put myself through school, and I built several things from parts for dairies to little grizzly screens for Klepfer concrete. My father-in-law, Fred Klepfer, had several different projects, and we were able to save $7,000 as I was going to school. So as Susan and I were going to school, we had one baby and another one on the way, no money, no insurance. So I did drop out of school. I went and hired on with the plumbers and pipe fitters if I could pass a welding test. And with my father as a great teacher, I passed 5 different welding tests, and I began an apprenticeship for the plumbers and pipe fitters. After 1 year, I challenged all of their tests. I got a 100 on the written exam, and then my x-ray, they only made me take a 6-inch Schedule 40 weld test, and I passed the x-ray. And that, with the experience I had, I became a journeyman welder in the plumbers and pipe fitters. I welded with the plumbers and pipe fitters for a few years till Susan and I had saved up $4,000. And on January 1st, 1980, we started a business. We rented a shop there in Paul, and we started a welding shop there. 2 years later, we borrowed $84,000 and we built a shop across the street. I bought a little bit of land from Klepfer Concrete, and we started our business there. We borrowed money at 12.25%. My payment was $1,200 a month, and one week I called the bank, D.L. Evans Bank, and I asked them, can you give me 1 extra week to bring my loan current? And he said, okay. This was on a Thursday. He says, if you don't have the money to me by Monday morning, we will foreclose on your loan and put us out of business. So I went around and begged all the people that owed us money to please pay, and I came up with the money to pay. But at that point, I made up my mind. From that point forward, I would not borrow money. I think the hardest part of being a business owner is it's difficult on the family, because I was constantly gone, and I don't think I gave my wife the help that I should. But those of you who know my wife, she is a thoroughbred, and she works so hard. She would bring the children down. They would get so dirty. She would be in the office there at our rented shop, and then also in the shop that we bought, and she would try to help keep our books up to date. After we had been in business for about 11, 12, maybe it was 13 years, we moved to Manti, and we expanded our business in Manti. After a while, I leased the business back out to Rick and Rusty, and I would go up, help do bids and so forth once a week. I would drive to Idaho and then try to manage this business here. Soon, the business here grew to where we had 30 or 40 employees here. Eventually, I sold the business in Idaho to Rick and Rusty, those 2 first employees, and they did very successfully. Even now, we still partner with them on projects. Well, I think we've had some really fun things that we've helped to develop. Crossover chutes for the coal mines. that would save them thousands of dollars. As the coal comes out, it always has to turn at a 90-degree angle, so we helped design a crossover chute. We built seed grain carts in Idaho that were really a key to our success, where they would be able to haul bulk seed. Also, we helped develop the process to make Pringles potato chips, to dry potatoes on a big steam drum dryer and make them into flakes. Watching the different processes in the food processing industry and others, and even now in the refineries, and helping them develop different processes and methods has been a real fun aspect. Well, I think my favorite part has been to see the way that they've grown. If you started with Kenneth brings his engineering degree to the company. As a matter of fact, he has new ideas and the new processes. Once he said, "Dad, let's spend $250,000 on a high definition plasma cutting table." And I said, "Oh, Ken, that's too much money. We'll never use it." And he says, "But Dad, I think we will." So we bought it, and it's used almost every day. It saved us thousands of dollars. So Kenneth brings great ideas in, and he's very good with safety and engineering. Scott is very good at bids. He's very good with his math skills. He's able to put things together quickly. He's great on the computer. I used to design pressure vessels. It'd take me a couple of hours, and when he did his first one that took him a half an hour, I decided he and Kenneth can design these pressure vessels. Now, as far as John goes, John's an amazing worker. He's a better welder than I ever was. He's so good with the workers. They have a great respect for him, not just because he's big, but his heart is big. And he trusts them, and they trust him, and the customers love him. The bad part about that is he always seems to be out of town, because the people on the jobs want John to be out there running the jobs for him.
My dad's legacy, in my eyes, is one of hard work, dedication, service to others and your community, and the ability to provide for yourself and for other people. His legacy to me, and the way that I have tried to apply it in my life, is to work as hard as I can while I'm at work. Spend all of my time at work being productive, and to try and help those around me be as productive as possible, so we can finish projects on time, under budget, so forth. I said dedication because I remember my dad telling us several times as a kid the stress that he felt, not only because he wanted to make sure that his company was successful and us, we kids had food, but every employee that worked for him meant something to him. And he wanted to make sure that each one of those employees was taken care of as well, that they had work to do so that they could feed their families too. So dedication for sure to our projects, to our customers, and most importantly to our employees, to our family. I talked about hard work, but work ethic is key, and hard work is what sets us apart from some of our competitors. Well, we need several things. I don't know if you can just say it's just one. Number one, to stay successful, is we have to continually find new work. And the ways that we continually find new work are through existing customers, through sales for new customers, and just word of mouth from people that we've done work for in the past, talking to other people. So number one, we have to maintain a steady stream of work coming in. Number two, that's as critical, if not even more critical, is once we have those projects, we need quality workers. We need great leaders that can keep those teams of workers together and to keep them on task and keep them under budget. So we call those our superintendents. We need great superintendents, we need good foremen, we need good welders, we need good fitters, we need good journeymen, we need good laborers, we need good hard workers to maintain good quality, but also to maintain that speed and effectiveness, so that we're maintaining our budgets. If we're going over budgets, then we're right back to the first one. Those customers aren't going to be happy with what we're producing for them. But if we're staying on time, we're staying under budget, then they will stay happy. And then that word of mouth will kick in. Another thing is that we need, this it is something we can't really control, but we need good leadership in our country. We need good representatives for our state and for the country itself to maintain healthy economies, because when an economy is healthy, companies like ourselves do well. When the economy isn't healthy, it's a lot tougher. Well, I would encourage people to weld or work in this career because honestly, welding and being in the construction blue collar field, it's extremely rewarding. We're not confined to a desk every day. We don't see the same window every single day. We get to see a different job site. Sometimes each week, sometimes we're on the same job site for 6-8 months, but the parts and the moving parts of that project are always changing. From the civil work and the dirt work, through the structural steel, through the piping, through the setting of equipment or the grouting or whatever part of that job you're on, it's never always the same. It's constantly changing and evolving until the project completes, and then we move on to the next. So I would say number one is that your landscape changes. You're in a different area. Number two, it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding to build something with your hands, or to maybe not just you, maybe you're working as a team with a few other guys, but when you assemble a large section of structural steel and it started at nothing, and then later that day you see it 40 feet in the air with beams everywhere, it just feels good. You worked with your hands, you worked as a team with other guys, you got it done. So it's really rewarding in that way. A lot of people don't realize this, and schools sadly don't teach us very much, but it's extremely lucrative. Workers in the blue collar field can make as much as physician's assistants, as much if not more than nurses or a lot of other trades out there, and people don't realize that. The trades are being lost, and so every year, because there's less and less people joining this field, the pay structure keeps going up because people are willing to pay more and more for those quality employees. And the sad thing is each year there's less and less quality employees. Our older generation is retiring off, and there's not the same amount of younger generation filling those spots. So it's lucrative, and people will pay a lot for quality craftsmen. And yes, you do have to work in a different place each day, or each week, or each month, whatever it may be. So we bounce around a lot, but the pay benefits are pretty incredible, especially for somebody who has little to no college, but has a work ethic and the ability to learn and think on their feet. There's ways for guys that didn't go the school route to still make a great living for their family.
Our parents really tried to teach us honesty and integrity and hard work. They taught us that we should always give an honest day's work for an honest day's pay, and that no matter what we did, we should be honest in our dealings with our fellow men. That has been something we've tried really hard to do as business owners and always throughout our life. Also, hard work. There are lots of items that come up. You'll have a weekend planned and you want to go do something else, but a customer needs a job taken care of, and we end up having to cancel, and instead of go do something fun, we have to get the work done. One of the reasons we're successful is our customers appreciate that we are able to take care of their needs even when it's inconvenient. Barclay Mechanical is currently licensed to produce ASME certified pressure vessels and boilers. We also have certified welders. In order to stay compliant in these certifications, we have to meet with auditors every several years and show them the processes and procedures that we have in place in order to verify that our welders are certified and that the products that we build are certified to their standards. This is an ongoing process where we are continually reading the latest requirements and the latest specifications and ensuring that the processes and procedures that we use are up to date. Barclay Mechanical has tried very hard to stay current as technology evolves. In the last few years, we have implemented a CNC high-definition plasma cutting system that can take any design drawing in 2D and plasma cut that shape out of the steel or stainless steel or even aluminum in order to use on our projects. We have also implemented CNC milling in our shop. We have also implemented newer modern welding machines that can use digital frequency waves to produce a cleaner weld with less porosity.
Well, lots of ways. If you go to any of the Manti High School football games, you'll sit in the stadium that we built, and we donated all the labor for that project and a lot of the materials. Most of the materials were purchased by the school from Cedar City, brought up, and then we assembled it all. The fairgrounds, we donated most of the labor to the fairgrounds project too, because it ended up being a lot more extensive than they planned. We wanted the community to be able to have that. When you pull into all these towns and you see those ribbons that say we support our troops, we donated those. So there's lots of different things that we've donated, the swimming pool stuff, the splash pads, all the kind of stuff that we make and donate. But most of what we do for the community comes in forms of just supporting everybody that comes down here and asks for help. All the different bike clubs and veterans clubs and the 4-H. We are one of the biggest donors at the livestock auction. And then we just want to help out every group that needs it. When there's somebody, a family that has traumatic experience, like when they did St. Pete Gives Back and they were helping families with cancer, we were one of the biggest donors to those programs also. Because we're always trying to give back, not just by providing jobs and helping people support their families that way, but by giving anywhere we can, because to us, community is a really important part of what we do. People that work here are part of the community. We are part of the community. We live here. We choose to live here. Even though there's not as much work as we might need here, we choose to live here and we want to be part of it. So it's been a little bit difficult to keep our business at the level we want to be while living in a small town. But like most of us have expressed, we want to live here. We love being in this community and living in this town. So what we've had to do in order to grow and support everybody from around here who relies on us to support their families is extend outwards. We've been able to keep manufacturing here in our shop to support all of our out-of-town projects. So we've gone to other states. We've done jobs in Florida, Kansas, Kentucky, Nevada, Arizona, California, Washington, Idaho, Oregon, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Arizona. I mean, I could keep going, Louisiana. So we're just extending everywhere. We've built products that have shipped overseas to Turkey, to Scotland. Wherever we can find work, we're gonna work. And whatever we gotta do to keep everybody here busy, we work. And a lot of times when we go out of town, we'll just send our leaders and people from here who have grown up and proven and been loyal and learned in this company to oversee those projects, and then we just hire some people from there to fill in all those different spots. We have really good employees, really loyal employees that we can trust to be out of town and still support our name and our company and take on that responsibility. So to answer the question, how we've been able to survive is we've just spread out and still used the labor that you find, that labor mentality of a small town worker, and gone and done big town jobs. COVID has been really different for everybody, and it's been an interesting trial that we weren't sure we were going to have to face, in that a lot of our projects ended up getting shut down. We had food processing plants that we were planning on doing and other things that got shut down. But because we do very important work that's required for the economy of the entire nation, like working at oil refineries and in the energy sector, we were able to be deemed as essential employees, especially in the oil refineries, and we had to work through all of COVID. All of our guys, they didn't take time off during COVID. We kept all of our main guys, and we even hired during COVID because there were certain refinery projects that had to be done in order to provide fuel for the country, even in that dire time or the scary time for everybody. So our guys kept working. They had little permits that showed that they were essential employees. They would go to Home Depot and not have to wait outside in that huge line with everybody so far apart, only letting a few in, because they were essential employees. They walked right in and got whatever they needed for the project. And I think that's really just shows who we are. We do work that is important for the entire nation, to keep everybody running, to keep trucks moving, to keep homes heated, to keep everybody in schools, to keep everybody moving along so that the whole entire country doesn't shut down. That's the kind of work that we do.